Who'd you talk to? What's going on? It is me. It is me. It's Mike Lepre King Michael. This is Bar Fongool, brought to you by legitpodcast.com. What is Bar Fongool, you ask? It is our open sports forum. We can discuss anything we want to in sports, just like people sitting at a bar. Joining me, Mastradamus, Mr. Never Left. What's going on, Matt?
What is going on? So much is going on in the NFL landscape. You got trades happening every single day.
Yeah, there's some weird stuff going on right now that I'm catching wind of that is making me really nervous. And I wish Brother Ray was here on the show tonight, but he's not. But oddly enough, we do have a Dolphins fan, Buddy there. What's up, buddy?
How you doing, guys? I'm pretty excited about this upcoming season, probably for the first time in my entire Dolphins fan career. So,
and I'm gonna ruin it for you like no one's ever ruined it before, and I'm being dead serious. I'm being serious. I'm gonna
wait. Get Tom Brady in Miami.
Wait.
All day.
Wait. What did you just say? What did you just say?
They've been talking about Tom Brady coming to New England, coming to Miami. No, please. Keep him in Tampa.
Oh, buddy.
No, thank you.
Joining us, this new guy, Brennan. What's up, Brennan?
What's going on, guys?
So, listen, that I want to open with, buddy. I do, because that's the most terrifying, like, rumor, whatever you want to call it. In my head.
Oh, my God.
Now, listen to me. For Brother Ray to message me about it, it means it's serious. All right? Brother Ray's nervous. He's a lifelong Dolphins fan. He was alive when they won in 72. You know what I'm trying to say? Not to date him, but you know what I mean by that? Like, so he's the fact, because listen, it makes a lot of sense for Brady to go to the Dolphins with the weapons they have now, right? In a trade.
Don't say that, Mike. Don't say that.
Listen, and take that offense, make it the way he wants it to be with those athletes, and can win a championship for the Miami Dolphins. And the Miami Dolphins are in serious considerations about a trade for Tom Brady. I'm not joking with you.
Get the hell out of here.
This is an inside thing. I'm letting you know.
It is. They are in serious negotiations. And if it doesn't happen this year and Tom plays for Tampa Bay, it's very serious that he just goes there next year.
Oh, don't even fucking say that. Oh, you just ruined the last 2 days for me. I've been Tyreek Hill, finally Tua.
Buddy, I'm Mastradamus, and I see the future as I've always done is I've come out on top, and that means correct. I see that not happening because Tua was a very, very good quarterback in the second half of last year.
Right.
And now you give him a speedster. People are laughing all over the world. They're saying, well, Tua can't get him the ball. Tyreek Hill makes the defense have to defend every part of the field. His job just became easier. Tom Brady's not coming to Miami.
Brendan, are you familiar with the Dolphins receivers now? Who they have?
Yeah. They're stacked.
Run it down with me. They got Tyreek Hill. They got Waddle, right?
Yeah.
They got an injured Devontae Parker, who you can say what you want about him, but as a number 3, I mean, come on. Right? Like, what do you think?
Yeah, Waddle would have been Rookie of the Year if it wasn't for Jamar Chase. You know what I mean? If Jamar Chase wasn't historically good, Waddle would have won that Rookie of the Year, and he would have deserved it, too. We put up some big numbers. And Tua can get the ball, man. I don't understand where all this Tua hate's coming from. I think it's the lefty thing. Whenever there's a lefty quarterback, people don't want to see it, man. But Tua's like one of the more accurate quarterbacks in the league, and he can move around the pocket. You give him some weapons, and they literally just signed the best left tackle in football, like that was available. They're a real team, and that coaching hire was remarkable. It's not a recycled name. It's a kid that knows offense, can run. They're going to run the ball. That's going to only help Tua out. He can throw the ball. They're going to use that. You got a guy that's going to go in there and like empower Tua and build an offense around him instead of pulling him out in the fourth quarter and breaking the kid's confidence. You know what I mean? I'm a big fan of McDaniel there. I think he's gonna do some great things. Now,
let me give you my Tua breakdown. All right. First of all, he's not as accurate as you think. Second of all, he throws a lot of balls where he lollipops them in the air. Like I'll see him float a ball and think to myself, you should never throw a ball like that.
Right.
Like I'm not hating on him. I'm telling you exactly what I see when we do the football show every week, what we watch. Tua every now and then and just flips it. And it's like, dude, why would you do that on an NFL pro field? The longer it's in the air, the more trouble you're causing for the guy trying to catch it and what's going to happen to him. You know what I mean? Yeah, Matt.
He's had a bad deep ball, yes, but has he had the receivers to even throw to in the year and a half he's played? He's had Mike Gesicki. Park is never there. Then you got Fuller, who's never played.
Who played
He's never had any wideouts. Now you get to see him.
Yeah, I'll agree to that. I'll agree that this is a year, but still, those mental lapses that he has, right, is why they've been interested. Look, they've been interested in trading him the whole time they've had him. That's not a joke. Like this guy, like I feel for him when he must have to go out there because they've been trying to trade him since they drafted him. I can't understand it.
But you know what, King? He responded with a great second half. And look at what Baker Mayfield is doing after just saying, hey, we're thinking about Deshaun Watson. Cried like a baby. Like you said, they've been trying to trade Tua since day one, and he's still coming through.
There's one more charge, by the way. There's they're considering a federal charge, another federal charge against Deshaun Watson, one of the states where the massage parlor is. That's actually in the ESPN news. Like they're considering charging him again. If they charge him with another felony, he's going to have an issue with that, and that's going to cause him at least miss time, sometime.
Suspended anyway.
Was that?
He's got to be getting suspended anyway. Conduct detrimental to the league. The league does this. You know what I mean?
Dude, they haven't touched this one. If everyone's been paying attention, they have kind of ignored this. Like his year off.
Public.
His year off was their way of like letting it slip on there. We're done with him. Like he had a time off. Here we go. I'm being serious because like if it's not if the gloves don't fit, you must have quit. Like it doesn't.
I don't know about any suspension because what his act was immoral. There was no improper touching. There was no anything.
Well, you weren't there, Matt. I mean,
these girls went there because they knew from the prior girl what was going on, and they were asked, "Hey, do you want to have a coffee?" And they knew the coffee question was going to come. It's not anything that they didn't see coming, so they can be offended all they want. It's a money grab.
You know my massage parlor story, right, Matt? You know my terrifying massage parlor story with the older woman. The first time I ever went and got a massage. First time I ever went to the massage, I went with the wife, and we went to like one of those massage parlors. It was like in a strip mall, you know. So I have an older woman. It was just odd, you know. She's older, and she didn't have much strength in her hands. You know what I mean?
I hate that shit.
And my body's like just
not a happy ending.
My whole body's just a complete knot to begin with. So like I can't. I'm younger, much younger, but she's doing it right. And next thing you know, she's talking about how my back. I'm like, yeah, my back hurts, and she's massaging like my lower back. And then she says something, and I'm like, I made like a kind of like a yeah sound. And next thing I know, my shorts are down to where the top of the elastic band is like in the middle of my ass. And she's massaging the top of my ass. And I'm thinking to myself, this is wrong. This ain't right. I'm going, this is wrong. This ain't right. This is wrong. This ain't right. Right. So I get out of the massage and I end up going and sitting with my wife who's in the waiting room. And I look white as a ghost, right? She goes, as soon as she sees me, she goes, what happened? And I go, so we're leaving. I won't talk about it because I was in shock. So we're leaving. And I sat down and I go, let me ask you something. You ever get your lower back massaged by one of the masseuses or what you want to call them? And she's like, yeah. Oh, yeah, of course. Is that what you're freaking out about? I'm like, no. I said, let me ask you this. Does the top of your ass need to be massaged and your underwear pulled down? She's like, you're an idiot. No, like she goes, you let that older woman do that to you? And I was like, yeah. And she's like, I'm glad. Like she was like I deserved it. You know what I mean? Like I didn't, dude. I was so dumb, and I was so scared of the confrontation with an older woman that she's rubbing the top of my ass, and I'm thinking to myself, dear God, let it stop there. Dear God, let it stop there. Dear God, that's all I'm thinking, and it did. It stopped right there. She probably could tell that I was like freaking out. Like that's not right, though, right, buddy? When you get massages.
Honestly, Mike, as a guy who has suffered with back problems about half of my life, more than half of the back pain comes from the northern portion of my anus region. It's just where all the muscles meet the back and the pelvis. They all tie together, and they all really fucking suck.
No ass aches, buddy? No ass
I
aches?
have been known to put those TENS pads right on my butt cheeks and just fucking light up my ass, and it's a great time.
It is what it is. Brendan, your thoughts?
I don't think that's out of the norm. For a strip ball massage. I've been to other ones where they flip you over and not even say a word. You know what I mean? But
so I was doing it wrong.
Know their way around the massage. You know what I mean?
So I was doing it wrong. So I was in the wrong place, not them. It's not their fault. It's me for showing up there. I should know what I was getting into, but I didn't.
You got to know what you're signing up for.
You're always thinking, Brendan. You're always thinking. I'll tell you that much.
Mostly about massage parlors.
We're going to go around the horn. This is what I wanted to do because if you noticed, first of all, I had a new song for the intro, and I included a lot of my favorite athletes. So I want to go around the horn in some sports. Give me your favorite athlete of that sport, but give me a reason why. Like, why is that your favorite guy? All right. So, buddy, I'm going to let you choose which sport you want to pick. Whatever sport you pick, we're all going to follow around with that.
Jesus Christmas.
Pick a sport. Pick any guy you want.
All right, I'm gonna go baseball because baseball's back and baseball is a fucking amazing sport. And I'm gonna say Wade Boggs. He was a Red Sox. He became a Yankee, which I should hate him for that, but I don't. Really a personal, friendly guy. I've met him a few times. He talks to me on Instagram. He was an amazing baseball player, and yeah,
he's a drinker.
He's a drinker. Yeah, he loves beer.
Like that should be the immediate. Like I thought you were gonna go right there to begin with. Like Wade Boggs. We both have like reddish beards. We both drink beer. Like bang, bang, bang. You
Honestly, I met Roger Clemens, and Roger Clemens is such a fucking douchebag that Wade Boggs is just the complete opposite and just a man, like one of us.
Hey, buddy.
Wade Boggs.
What do you think the YouTube stream is gonna think of you so far?
I don't know, Mike.
Yeah. So do me a favor. And try to keep the F-bombs to like.
I'm sorry, Mike. I'm
maybe
sorry.
1 or 2 per show. You've already hit like 4, not even 10 minutes in.
All right, my bad.
All right. So baseball, you went with Wade Boggs. Matt, baseball.
To me, there's one and one only, and that's Petey. And I think he solidified himself in my heart when he hip tossed Don Zimmer by the head. That was unbelievable. I knew he was a G at that moment in time. But he was like, come at me, man. And he was like, yeah! It was awesome. He was unbelievable. When he got traded from Montreal to Boston, it was a show every outing. How many Ks, put him up on the wall. He made you believe that they had absolutely a chance. Watching him have Grady Little come out there and ask him if, Petey, can you do it? And, Petey's going to be like, yeah, man, I could do it. And then all of a sudden, they suffer such a heartbreaking defeat. And then to come back and do what they did the next year, to me, still the greatest championship. And that's with the Rams Super Bowl in 2001. That's with everything. What I watched that upbringing, my watching Boston suck, watching them suffer defeat time to time again against the Yankees, to see them suffer such defeat in 2003, to only come back in 2004. Unbelievable. And he was the heart and soul of that entire movie.
Brendan, what about you?
So I'm a diehard Phillies fan. I'm a big Jim Thome guy. He was the reason I started watching the Phillies. Big lefty, first baseman, ton of fun to watch. Just hit the leather off the ball.
Yep. All right. So to me, it split with me because when I was a little kid, up to about 6, I had a favorite player, And then once I really figured out baseball, I had a different player from a totally different team. So my first was Yaz, Collier Shremsky. Because as a little kid, he was just such a big deal in the area. And like my whole family got behind them and around them, and it was like a big deal. And, Yaz, it was a big deal. But once I became a baseball fan, my favorite player of all time was Gary Sheffield when he played for the Yankees. And that's because of the way he would swing. I wish I could swing like Gary Sheffield. Like, that man swung so hard. And he was agitated. And the minute he swung, it was like whoosh. Like, probably one of my favorite swings of all time. Like, just him and Strawberry. They get just bang. It's gone. It's just gone, So he was like mine. That was my man, Sheffield. My favorite in baseball. All right, Matt, you go. You got football.
Football?
Yep. Should be easy, right?
Do I start with who I like first?
Who's your favorite of all time?
My favorite player of all time. Gosh, that's gonna be a tough one.
It's so easy for me.
Well, it's not Tom Brady. I'm a more offensive player. That's what made me stop watching football to begin with. But I think I said this line one other time, and I'm gonna go with Richard Seymour because, to me, like, I might be a very jokey individual and everything, but I have a very serious side to me that I think that is needed in a platoon, in a team manner. I'm the spirit of a defense. I'm the one that gets up out of the players. I'm the one who gets them up, gets them going. Let's go. We're going. We're gonna do this. Get the energy level up. That's me. And Richard Seymour, I met him, and he was the biggest man I've ever met. And I said, Seymour sacks. He said, what quarterback do you want to get more than any other? He goes, I want them all. That was the most gangster line I've ever heard in my life. And that's exactly why he's my type of guy. And I felt like the Patriots missed him for so long when they traded him to Oakland. They missed that nastiness, that leadership, that toughness.
All right.
That's it.
Brendan, football to you.
I got two guys, man. Troy Brown, who did anything and everything the Patriots asked.
Good.
It was the reason why the slot receiver role even works in New England, because he put it on the map. And Teddy Bruschi, I mean, heart and soul of that defense, left everything on the field. You needed a big play out of the defense. I always felt, as a Pats fan, Teddy Bruschi was going to make the tackle, get the pick, do whatever he needed, jump over the line, do a flip. You know what I mean? Like, Teddy Bruschi was that guy.
Who did you say before Bruschi?
Bruschi and Troy Brown.
Troy Brown over Ty Law?
Yep, team player.
All right.
Complete team guy. Played defense, you know what I mean? Played offense. Never bitched about his role. Nothing. Returned punts even when he was like, you know what I mean? He didn't have to be returning punts. Troy Brown was Mr. Patriot for a long time.
All right, buddy.
Hall of Famer, Miami Dolphins defensive end Jason Taylor, because he was a big dude, fast around that edge, hammered the quarterback.
Hate him.
I don't know. I like him on. And
Hate him.
No longer with us.
I actually gave Brother Ray an autographed Jason Taylor jersey.
Nice.
It was orange. It's beautiful. But all right. So football to me, there's one guy, and then there's like one, and then 1A. So obviously number one would be Lawrence Taylor. Like that's that guy. Like, you know what? I literally could talk a couple hours straight about Lawrence Taylor because that's how crazy I am with this guy. Like, I got so many stories about him. But let me just stick with this. He was the biggest, scariest person on the field amongst pros. Whoever was out there when LT was on the field, I don't care who you were beneath him somehow in the pecking order of this terror. Like, I mean, let's be honest. My man did a lot of crack, stuff like that. You know, that's how life is. We got to be honest, right? You know,
Right.
I drink while I do this show. Matter of fact, gonna have another. My point is, there was nobody scarier than LT. Like, quarterbacks were terrified of Lawrence Taylor. Like, offensive linemen, if they were younger than him, they would call him Mr. Taylor. People didn't know how to address him. He made Eric Dickerson hide on the sidelines. It's the greatest story ever. Eric Dickerson had a low-cut LT, and he's like, no, I don't want to do that. Like in the huddle, like he knew the play. I don't want to do that one. So you got to do it. Came around the corner, and he hit LT kind of below where the knees were more. And he goes, LT got up, and he was like, I'm going to kill you, you mother rookie, your whole family. And he's like, so Eric Dickerson ran off the field. And Eric Dickerson standing there, and the head coach is like, Dickerson. And he's like, and they're like, get on the field. He goes, no, I ain't going out there. That man's crazy. He just said he's going to kill me. My whole family ain't doing it. Like, he was really convinced. And they're like, you got to get out. So he goes back out on the field. He says at the end of the game, he gets up and he's terrified because he's on the field with LT and he's trying to like get his head down and walk away. And he sees him and bumps into him. And LT's like, you mother. And he goes, I'm only kidding, Rook. And instead of like talk to him, and like Dickerson was like, oh my God, I was so happy. Now, Eric Dickerson was such a beast of a running back. Let's start with that, right? And as a man, he's so large to be terrified of another man like that. Do you understand what I'm saying? And that guy won a whole game on Thanksgiving against Detroit. He played with a torn pec shoulder against New Orleans with one arm and won that game by forcing fumbles. Like, that dude, I don't care. He's one of those guys that, listen, there's some people that for some reason are so genetically superior to the rest of us that they can intake all this stuff while they're doing it, like a Rodman, and it never stops how they play. Do you know what I'm trying to say? It's weird. They just turn on what they do, and it's so strong that it's like, I'm going to go blow coke. I'll show up at like maybe 12 o'clock. I'm going to sleep under the desk with my sunglasses on during the defensive meetings. Belichick's going to say something. I'm going to get up all grouchy, grab the pen, and draw up exactly the defenses we need to run, go sit back down and go to sleep. That's Lawrence Taylor. Like climbing the walls of his college brick walls to get to his room, which was on the 6th floor, because he didn't like using the door. The dude's a maniac. Was a maniac. I mean, you know, he's still having problems now with speaking of masseuses and prostitutes and stuff like that. He's dealing with that stuff himself. I mean, he's had everything, quite frankly, everything. But you know what? It's like you forgive some of your favorite athletes because it's like you can see they're trying, but they're just, especially when they're so great at something, but they're mortal and other stuff. You know what I mean? It's, you know, yin and a yang. Second would be quickly Eli Manning. And why? Well, that's exactly it. Because he's never anybody's choice, right? But he started every single game of his career hurt. What? You know he was hurt. He never missed a game. If it wasn't when they took him out against and started when
he got benched for Geno Smith.
For Geno Smith, he would have kept that record. It would have ended up in the top 3 or 4. Like, he was an Iron Man. You guys don't understand. Like, he was an Iron Man. Imagine your quarterback is always there on game day and in the huddle. Just imagine that experience of how easy that is for a system to operate if the quarterback is always there every week of every year over 10 years that he's there. That stability is, like, almost unviable. Like, that's ridiculous. Like, was he the greatest? No. Did he have games where I swear to God I wanted to put my head through a wall? Oh, my God. You guys have no idea what it was like being an Eli Manning fan. He did things like twice he tried to throw the ball left-handed. Oh, my God. It was the worst butterfly thing I've ever seen in my life. Both were intercepted in the end zone. He's done that twice in his career. The second time he did it, I remember screaming at the TV so loud that the dogs were getting all excited how much of an idiot he was. So I know the dumb stuff he could do. But my man could go to the playoffs, right? And then all of a sudden, the idiot savant just takes over. And it's like, ping, flip. Hey, of course it's going to go my way. Flip, bang, just throw it. It's like, he was unstoppable. He beat a perfect team. He beat Tom Brady, the greatest quarterback of all time, against the greatest franchise we're gonna have to say of all time because of the six Super Bowl so close.
No, straight-handed Numenor beat them.
Greatest coach of all time, though. Like, where do we end with all this with that Pats team? So, and that was probably their best team. It was 17-0. Oh, was it 18?
18-0.
Yeah, they were 18-0. Dude, I have 2 T-shirts that I bought online about the Patriots celebration winning that Super Bowl before the Super Bowl. I'm a Giants fan. I was so pissed off. I'm like, I'm going to buy these damn T-shirts, and I can't wait to wear them and I wear them all the time. And people see them, they go, we did. Oh, you know what I mean? Like, they look at it, like, oh, you're a Pats fan. When they read it, they figure it out. They go, no, you must be like a Giants fan. They walk away from you. It's fantastic. But I have 2 of those shirts. But anyways, all right. Let's go to, this might be a tough one for you guys. We'll see what happens. Brendan, basketball.
One's a tough one. It's between Dennis Rodman, because that's what I grew up on in the 90s, and Larry Bird, because I caught the tail end of his career, and he was the baddest motherfucker walking the planet. Just a bad dude.
You know what? 2 guys that hustle. I appreciate that. You know what I mean? Both of those guys, there's tons of footage of them on the floor. Tons of footage of them on the floor. Rodman and Bird were on the floor more than a mop. Like, they were constantly diving for stuff and getting dirty. Rodman was probably the best physical athlete to ever play basketball, ever.
Probably the best defensive basketball player of all time.
Was that?
Probably the best defensive basketball player of all time.
I'm saying he was the most, like, him and like Wilt are on their own level of how strong and just ridiculously athletic they were compared to everybody else. Because Rodman had, let's be honest, not much basketball skill. His skill was just how athletic he was on a floor with people and how he could just, like, dude, he guarded Shaq. He would put his forearm in Shaq and hold Shaq down. Come on, you know what I mean?
He studied a lot of film and shot patterns and stuff like that. He knew where to be and used his athleticism when he got there. He was great.
So now Bird did the same thing. He knew where every ball was gonna. He used to say he could tell where a ball was gonna go just by just a trajectory. He would watch it and just go for the rebound. Bird was always in the right spot every time. If you ever watch him play basketball, always, no matter what's going on, Bird's in the right spot. Bird's doing something, and he's just making everybody look stupid. And if you watch the old tape, he used to cross people up sickly. Like, he used to cross people up. They fall. Bird would step back, and if you give Bird an open shot, forget it. And that guy was the last guy you want on the court. So Phil Jackson says it like this. If my life was on the line, if the game was on the line, I'd want the last shot to go to Michael Jordan. He goes, if my life was on the line, I'd want the last shot to go to Larry Bird. Phil Jackson. And it's kind of, I mean, come on. I mean, Bird was terrifying during the last couple of seconds. As a Laker fan, just the fact that he's on the court was scaring me. Buddy, who you got?
Well, before Brendan took it, I was going to say Rodman because I grew up with Rodman. But being a bandwagon Celtics fan, I don't really follow basketball unless it's the playoffs and the local teams in the playoffs. So I'll say Kevin Garnett because he was just a big part of that championship year. What was that? 2008 and big aggressive man.
Oddly enough, buddy, I gave Dave Evans Jr. A basketball signed by Kevin Garnett.
Wow, look at you.
That said HOF.
Wow.
Nice. He made the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
His son put it in like a plastic case.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was good. And I made sure I gave it to his son, not him. Like, hey, here you go, Junior. All right, Matt.
I'll do 3.
Oh, my God. Really?
Yeah, but they'll be quick. The one who made me watch basketball and I think is not to be touched, not to be matched is Michael Jordan. I've never seen anybody like him. You turn on every single game, they're down like 18 points, 15 points. They come back and win. He was unbeatable. A current generational player that I absolutely love is Stephen Curry. I love Curry. And I'll go with Jason Tatum, who I think is a future great. And I think we're watching him emerge.
All right, so there, I jumped. I was with you so hard riding on the bandwagon with you, and you said Jason Tatum, and I jumped.
Oh, boy.
Jason Tatum's going to be one of the best players in the NBA. And,
when?
Oh, he already is right now.
All right.
Right now.
How good are the Celtics?
Celtics can win it all this year, right now.
Oh boy.
They're beating the snot out of everybody, and it doesn't matter who it is. If it's the Suns, if it's
The West teams will
Warriors,
smash them.
they're beating
Bucks
everybody.
watch them playoff basketball, dude. Come on, really? All right, Brendan, your
They,
thoughts on the Celtics right now?
I love the Celtics and they're playing well, but I just don't see a championship team. They're missing a couple pieces. I don't think Tatum and Brown get along long
They
enough.
don't.
I think they're prima donnas. You know what I
They're
mean?
two of the same players, dude.
Exact same players, except Brown plays better defense.
But the Celtics have done this before with Pierce and what's his face?
Walker.
Yeah, Antoine Walker.
Walker
Pierce are
was
the
more
same
of a
players.
Walker was more of a power forward than.
But basically, like it's like you get two stars that kind of do the same thing. Like, what the hell is that all about? Twice?
This is Mastradamus. And I'm telling you right now, this is not anything that's happened before. This is a championship run.
Oh.
And they're about to wipe the floor with everybody in front of them.
Boy,
7-game series.
you know that is I am not attached to that statement. That no, because the Celtics
Guess
have
what?
won.
That's why you asked, and that's why I said, and that's why this is recorded, and we're gonna run it back when they're running up the score and winning the championship.
I don't know how long we're gonna have to wait for that, but we'll do it.
Oh, it's this year.
Whatever year it ends up being. I'm last, right? So I'm gonna quickly go with one player. Yeah, it's kind of two. I got 1-1A. It's Kobe Bryant. It's my favorite basketball player, and secondly would be James Worthy. Kobe was. You got to watch how he went from a young kid who thought he knew everything and just shot to a guy who realized he had to work on himself physically to a person that became obsessed with just playing the game and practicing. And if you've played basketball before and you play for the high school, you've ever been on any kind of level like that where it's like a practice every day kind of environment, and it's just like the way he grinded and the way he worked, like, I can't even imagine. I can't even imagine. Like the stories, 3 a.m., 4 a.m. dropping off at the forums so he could shoot. Like the guy worked so hard that he went from somebody that, like, literally when he changed numbers too, he went from somebody number 8 that I wouldn't want my kids to emulate to number 24, who's that's the epitome of basketball. That's how you should play the game. Like that's how I feel about Kobe. Secondly, it would be James Worthy, because as a kid, my favorite basketball. I just love to see him finish one of those LA fast breaks. Like Magic comes down the middle and looks to Scott, throws it to Worthy, no look, Worthy grabs it, and it's just that bang. Worthy should have never been able to go to the Lakers. The fact that they got him, think about for a second in the 80s, how the Celtics and Lakers, or even all the way up to that, always seem to have the best players. They could always go get the best players, but no other market really could. Do you know what I'm trying to say? Like, how did they get James Worthy? The Celtics drafted Larry Bird, and he went back to college for another year. So they didn't get him for like a year. It was over a year or so, almost 2 years before Bird actually played for the Celtics, and they had already drafted him. So he was playing in the college championship, drafted already. All right, buddy, let's just try this one. Boxing.
Okay, well, I grew up in the 1980s, and Mike Tyson was all that in the bag of chips, and I watched a lot of his fights. My grandfather was a huge boxing fan. He was just like a phenom. And then he went to jail, and he came out. He wasn't as good. But yeah, he did some awful things. He's probably an awful person, but he was a fantastic boxer in the 1980s. So I'm gonna go with Mike Tyson.
Brendan, give me your take on Tyson.
Tyson was great. I mean, obviously he beat up on a weak division, but he did exactly what he was doing. He was entertaining for the 30 seconds he had to box. He'd just knock you out. And then, I mean, obviously he went to jail for what was it, 2 years, 4 years, or whatever it was, and then came back out. Got connected with the wrong guys, wasn't the same.
Matt, you want to touch on this, or you want me to Tyson this?
No, I'll be sure. I got a million different fighters that I like, but my fighter that I love.
No, wait. I'm just asking you about Tyson.
Oh, Tyson? No. Nope. I agree with New Guy. I think that he beat up on a lot of weak name opponents. If you look at his schedule, all the way going up, they were shit cans. They were bums.
So
and pretty much all guys who had like 1-5, 1-9.
all right.
And then finally he got up to Michael Spinks. He got up to, Tony Tucker gave him, pretty much went the distance with him. Tyson beat him handedly, but always guys that were a little bit bigger. I don't think Frank Bruno was in the class of like the Lennox Lewis's, or I think guys with longer reach, and if you can keep them at bay, frustrate Tyson, stay in there. I don't think Tyson was in the class of the greatest of all time. I do not. I just don't.
All right. So, all right. First of all, seems like everybody's wrong with Buddy. Tyson, the original Tyson, trained by Customato, demolished every amateur he came across, which includes many of the boxers that went on to be heavyweights. So he beat a lot of them when they were young. He beat everybody they put in front of him. He was a product of living in a bubble of boxing where someone finally paid attention to you, adopts you, brings you in, right? After that whole horror of his family growing up. The dude was built like he was made out of stone. Like when he was young, when he was Kid Dynamite on the cover, that guy looked like he was made out of stone. And the thing with Tyson was Customato used to throw out numbers, and every number was a different punch. And it got to the point where he could deal, he'd be like, 224, 7, 8, and Tyson's like, it's like, it was crazy how he had him set. So that kid being set like that with that power, listen, he could knock you out with the left, knock you out with the right? My favorite was the right to the ribs that went to the right to the uppercut, right? Forget about that one. And here's the thing. He fought a lot of bigger guys that people want to, blow by, like Bone Crusher Smith. Now, before that fight, and I know he hugged Tyson the whole time, he was nicknamed Bone Crusher Smith. It's not like they nicknamed him that because he hugged everybody. They would have called him, Bone Hugger Smith. But he actually did that against Tyson because he was terrified. So my thing is with this. So Tyson was that, Cuss goes, that's bad because then family life changes, right? Who enters the picture? Don King. Can you think of anybody worse to have entered the picture of somebody famous in sports than Don King? Guys, Don King. Would you trust Don King to hold $5?
Cancer. He's a cancer.
No, but listen, right? I agree with everything you just said. And I know the story of Tyson very well. The sports car, the driver, everything is great, the team, but the story as a whole isn't full, and it didn't complete. And there's a lot of holes in it because the driver ended up becoming addicted, fell victim to his pride. There was a lot of demons around him. The story of Tyson is an intriguing one because even like right now, I think that his heart and his mind is in it more than it ever was, and probably 50% of his career. It's almost like the cherry that he popped early or something like that. Maybe he was dedicated way too much of his life early on, and then he was like Michael Jackson. I never got to have a little boy life or something. I don't know.
I hope not. I hope not.
I'm just saying, do I think Mike Tyson could have been the best ever of all time? 100%. Do I think he is?
And I'm saying at one point he was walking the earth as the greatest boxer. Period. Like even Ali would in his later years would mention it. Like, look, their styles, right? The styles of fights, we all agree to that, right? And I always say it. I say it every freaking show. Styles make fights.
If I went around all
inside the pocket all the time, Matt, he was like Dempsey. He was like he fights like a Marciano. It's the truth too, right? Because they do. Hagler, they all fight the same. They're all right in Joe Frazier. They just stay inside your shoulders and just hammer you until they get you. They don't have long arms, and they're not just like there's foreign guys that just stand out and bang, right? Those are the big guys, the beasts. There's the Alis that got the reach and the pop, whack, like Tyson Fury.
Great thing about
Tyson Fury's like that, right? But then you get
Tyson
the guys
has
that are
great
guys
footwork
inside that don't stop. And that's what Marciano did. That's what Dempsey did. And that's what a young Tyson did. They just never stop coming at you with punches. So after a while, it's aggravating because, you know what I mean? You're dealing with their offense the whole time.
Well, Tyson loved the body, and he would love to make you drop the gloves. And you said right, and it's really actually left. He loved to do the left of the body, left uppercut.
No. It's the right. Look it up, Matt. Come on,
it's
now.
left, and that's why I'm.
Matt, come on now. I know
it's left.
Matt,
listen, that was his patent thing. Listen, all I do is watch boxing. That's all I do.
First of all,
I'm telling you right now.
All right.
It's left.
First of all, the left hand was a hook. He's right-handed. Left hand was a hook. The right went to the body, and it was a right uppercut.
He loved left. He loved left body, left uppercut. He loved
left hooks. Left for hooks. No, uppercut was with the right. Buddy, look it up.
It says right here, Tyson built his reputation as a feared knockout artist by using 3 distinct punches: the right uppercut, various versions of the left hook, and the good old jab.
Matt, I just nailed you on both of them. I just called the left was a hook and the right was the uppercut. Now tell me what.
No, listen, the jab was definitely something that he.
Never mind the jab. Get to the other two.
I'm gonna tell you right now. I'm gonna get together a bunch of videos and show you left body, left uppercut. He loved left body, left uppercut all the time.
It was right body, right uppercut, man. I swear to you, it was. Why would one of his best punches be the right uppercut? You think he just didn't set it up? Just walk up to the guy and was like, wham. No. All right. Who's next? Brendan, you haven't gone yet.
No, favorite boxer of all time. I was a big George Foreman guy growing up. He was a big heavyweight, just bang with you. You know what I mean? He was talking about a heavyweight that was fun to watch. But nowadays, Tyson Fury, that dude's really stole my heart, dude. He's so much fun to watch.
Yeah. He is a dangerous person because of his size and speed. But watching him train and what's going on, like, I keep waiting for it to derail again. You know what I mean? Like, I feel bad for the guy. I just think he's got a lot going on, man. With family issues, his dad's like against him now. The brother's fighting. His brother's fighting now, and he's on the undercard. I think he's gonna be on the undercard of the next whatever. All right, Matt, what do you got?
For boxing, it's Felix Tito Trinidad. I agree. I think George Foreman is the best heavyweight of all time. Felix Tito Trinidad, he moved up the weight classes, you know, I think a little bit too fast, and he ended up meeting up with the execution of Bernard Hopkins. Ended up getting spoiled, but Tito Trinidad, through my lifetime, was the most fascinating boxer to see. Loved Felix Tito Trinidad.
All right, so I can't repeat, buddies. I won't do buddies. I'll go really fast with this. I'm gonna go. Probably my favorite fighter other than that lifetime. It's tough because it's Rocky Marciano. It's Marvin Hagler. And it's Floyd Money Mayweather. Probably one of the best boxers ever. Maybe even near the top 1%. Like, he never took a fight at the wrong time. That's another fact with Floyd. He made sure he fought, what's his name, when he was older. He didn't fight him when he was younger because he didn't want to deal with that. What's the guy? I'm blanking on him. What's his name?
Pacquiao?
Yeah. He waited for Pacquiao. He timed that one right. Floyd was always in control of every fight he was ever in. It's so crazy to watch. Like, there's like moments.
I don't know about that.
Matt, even when he was getting hit.
He was almost losing to Zab Judah. He was almost out on his feet against Shane Mosley.
Agreed, but almost. It's always almost. With that's the thing with Floyd. It was always almost. It was almost like a wrestling show.
No. There was what was the fight that he definitely lost? It was he lost it and then he came back and he kicked the kid's ass.
Maidana?
Not who?
It was the first Maidana fight.
I think it was.
He lost the
He got
first
his
3 rounds of
ass
that
beat.
fight. Yeah, he lost the first 3 rounds of that fight easily too. Maidana controlled the first 3
And
rounds.
they robbed him on the scorecard, and he beat him in the second fight. But he did lose that fight.
Well, no, I don't think he lost
watched-
the fight. I think he took control of the later rounds.
I
But
think we're
Maidana made
thinking.
that fight a lot more interesting than it should have been for sure.
I think it's not Madonna. I think there's a different match. It was a fighter he fought in a second fight that he absolutely mollywopped, but he lost.
It was Maidana fight too. He did that.
Yeah.
The second fight, he
Mollywopped.
absolutely demolished Maidana.
All right, it might be.
My
I'll have to
favorite
check,
was
though.
my
I'll go
favorite
back and look.
was my favorite was when the referee told him to commence boxing, and that young kid started to like try to talk to the ref.
And he knocked him out.
Floyd was like, Floyd's a pro. That to me, that was the difference right there too. Like, in other words,
He deserved it. That
he's
good.
like a viper, Floyd. You don't give him that. You don't give him a chance. He went boom, and
Yeah, but that dude viciously headbutted him in the corner.
yeah,
like,
I agree.
around
I'm
the
just saying,
corner.
like, I don't blame Floyd for that at all. The kid was told the gloves up, and he commenced to still doing this. You're
Rule
in the,
number
you're in
one
the
is
ring with
protect
another
yourself at
pro.
all time. Protect yourself at all time. But if you
Exactly.
want to fight dirty, I have no problem giving it back.
All right. So this is going to be a tough one for us going around. Hockey. Do you have a favorite hockey player? Because I'll start this off and I'll go really quick. Bobby Orr. I grew up not knowing much about him playing, but I remember that he was always talked about. Even just when he wasn't playing growing up, I had to hear stories about Bobby Orr. So I ended up watching his film, and the guy was just like another one of those guys who could glide through things. You know, and they're just better. Like, I can watch a hockey game, a soccer game, a basketball game, whatever's going on, even rugby, which I still don't know the rules. I have no idea how rugby's played, by the way. None. I don't know why they're kicking it. I don't know why they're running with it. I don't know what's going on. I just know they keep hitting each other, right? But what was I saying? Because I'm completely off track now because now I'm talking about rugby. What was I just saying? Does anybody remember? Buddy, what was I just saying?
Rugby.
Oh, hockey. Bobby Orr. I'm sorry. I'm going to
Bobby
pass
Orr.
on that.
The great
Matt,
one.
what you got?
I don't have
Never?
No, not really. I mean, I always like teams. I mean, I'm a big Boston fan, but I don't really have a key player that I've ever been glued to. That no, never really. I mean, I love hockey. I love playoff hockey, but there's never been a player that I'm sitting there like, nope, don't have one.
All right.
I do like players. I like passionate. I did like Ray Bork. I'm glad that he went to Colorado and got a chip. But you know, when I look at players in hockey, it's not like, you know.
All right. Just say you don't watch hockey. Come on now. You're
No, I
killing me.
do. And hockey to me has kind of deeper roots than a lot. The Boston Red Sox and hockey, probably the first two sports that I really got glued to. But I look at it as more overall like team things. Players in hockey and baseball kind of almost like stand out by what the player next to you kind of is doing too. So it's individuals, you know. No, I've never really been glued to any individuals and
Buddy.
Okay. So I don't follow hockey.
Patrick
However,
Roy, maybe.
I think hockey is an incredible sport because I can barely ice skate, forget about focusing on hitting a puck or like a guy that's going to come at me and like nail me into a wall. But I think the most respectable position of the hockey sport is probably the goalie who sits there and gets those pucks that probably are like 2 pounds of pure rubber, like nailed at them at like 40 to 50 miles an hour. So I'm going to say Tuukka Rask, the Boston Bruins, 13, 14 seasons, just taking it in the chest, in the mouth, in the face, for the Bruins. So Tuukka Rask.
All right. Brendan.
Dominique Hasek. He was a beast for the Red Wings when I was growing up. Absolute stud between the posts.
All right. I'll take that. And by the way, Matt, you realize that you told us that you had no favorite hockey player, for about 5 minutes straight of airtime. And then as I'm switching away from you, you actually had the balls. That's why I love this kid so much. He's got cojones. He's got cojones like nobody else. He waits till after 6 minutes of that, and then he goes, you know what? Maybe Patrick Roy. It's like, you should have started with that. We would have been, you know what I mean? We'd be all set by now. I don't know. I'm not a big fan. No, not really. I'm not a big fan of that sport. And maybe not. All right. Maybe Brandon. Maybe wrong. All right. Well, one last sport I consider a sport. I'm starting with Brendan. That is pro wrestling. Brendan, favorite pro wrestler of all time?
Dusty Rhodes, the ultimate baby face. Just you could the perfect package. You know what I mean? The everyday guy that just had the crowd biting. His promos sucked you in. You know what I mean? He's just electric. You know what I mean? The Hard Times promo is still the greatest promo of all time, my book.
The thing about him was, right, and this is what I try to explain to because the thing with wrestling is it gets weird as generations go by. They used to see all this other stuff, and it's that. But what I try to explain to them is when you watch one of his promos, there was something different when he started talking. It was like different than when interviewing other people. It just became different, and he wasn't like just answering stuff. He had all this like Muhammad Ali type story banter, and he could just go, So,
captivating.
As far as a physique, no. But other than that,
everyday man, he's just the son of a plumber.
They put polka dots on him.
Oh. That was disrespectful.
Oh, Christ. All right, buddy, favorite wrestler?
All right, I don't watch wrestling now, but I did growing up. So I have two. I'm going to give you guys two. My first would be Bret the Hitman Hart, only man that's confident to wear pink. The sharpshooter is a phenomenal move that I put on many of my friends. And he's athletic. He comes from a legendary family. He's a legendary wrestler. The Hot Foundation could go on and on with Bret. And secondly, just raw power, big dude like myself, Kevin Nash.
Oh,
Kevin Nash.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, I like Kevin Nash. I make Kevin
that
Nash.
Bret Hart talk, buddy. I want to kiss you on the mouth.
Yes, I'm not a huge Bret. I've never been a huge Bret Hart fan, but
love Bret.
I'm there with Kevin Nash.
Yeah, big dude, powerful, nice guy too.
Great guy. Great.
Met him at WrestleMania 10. That was an awesome.
I've met him a few times. Great dude.
Bret the Hitman Hart. All right, Matt, what do you got for favorite wrestler?
I could go on for like 5 minutes.
Probably. Go ahead. You got about 3 or 4.
It's kind of like a team thing. You successfully goes off of the script. So, you can't really like an individual player because, the story that's written for him. So, yeah. I would say I liked when Ultimate Warrior beat Hulk Hogan.
Wow.
But me too, like Buddy, I liked Bret Hart over the long run.
Yeah.
I thought Bret Hart wore the good guy role, the championship role best. I liked Bret Hart a lot.
Absolutely.
All right. So mine goes by how old I am. First, it's Bruno San Martino. Let me say that again and slower. Bruno San Martino. He was champion for so long, it's ridiculous. And why? Because he only wrestled really in the Northeast, where all the Italians would go flock to see Bruno San Martino. My whole family would flock to see that. That was like, and listen, back in the day, the fans were mostly like nanas with gigantic purses that were just pissed off at him, which is odd to think about, like how that dynamic worked. Like, how do they end up there? How did that happen? You know what I mean? Now guys drinking beer. What happened to the nanas? Where did the nanas go? But that's exactly one of the things. So secondly, I'm going to go to Roddy Piper.
Yeah, there you go.
There's no, like, you don't bring, what was it? You don't bring something to a bazooka fight. What the hell did he say to I forget that one phrase right now. I'm blanking on you because I keep thinking of obviously his line about and They Live or whatever that was called about I came here to chew bubble gum and kick ass and I'm all out of bubble gum. Bang, that's historic. But my favorite was whenever they think they have the answers, I change the questions. That was one of my favorite lines ever. It just epitomizes stuff so perfectly, right? And then nowadays, as it's gone, I'll be honest, Christian, I know no one's a big fan of him. I've always been a big fan of Christians. Randy Orton's, I've always been a big fan of Randy Orton's. During the Stone Cold Rock era, Mankind, Undertaker, I was still Triple H. I'm over here with the Triple H group. I was more that kind of style. I don't know why. I like bad guys, I guess.
Maybe you don't know why. He's one of the greatest of all time.
No, but I mean, like, why I pick him out of that group. I guess I gravitate towards the heels. Like, I really appreciate, as I've grown up, the great heels. Because, let me tell you something. It's really easy to make people clap if you really think about it. Because what you're basically doing is you're figuring out what you need to do to make them clap. That's literally what you're doing. So it's easy to me to be the face, make everybody laugh. But to really piss everybody off, it takes skill. There's different levels of pissing you off.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm going to get different levels of heat from you if I apply myself correctly. As far as a pop, it's a pop. You know what I mean? It is what it is. So to me, being a heel has always been the way to go in pro wrestling. That's been my favorite. It's where Brendan, what do you think of that?
The huge difference. It takes a certain skill to be a great bad guy. Chris Jericho always said it was easier for him to be a heel than it was for him to be a face. You know what I mean? And especially nowadays, it's got to be easy to piss people off. But to get the right amount of heat, I mean, it takes a special kind of wrestler to do it. And there's a lot of heels. There's not many like great heels. Roddy Piper got that heat. And also, one of the nicest dudes I've ever met. I had the pleasure of meeting him before he died. What a sweetheart of a dude. Like, but you talk about a wrestler that made you believe, you know what I mean? That Hulk Hogan stuff doesn't work without a guy like Roddy Piper to be on the other side. It just doesn't work.
So if you were made as a wrestling video, by the way, WWE 2K22 is phenomenal. It's fantastic. It's everything I want to say about it that's positive. I'm telling you, I'm doing the GM mode. I'm doing the career mode. Dude, I'm killing it. I'm having so much fun with that game. That game is so much fun. It's so much more fun to play. It's like the same things, but they just made it better, and it's the truth. Where was I going now with that? Why did I stop? What were you just saying?
You were talking about if you were going to be a wrestler.
Yes. Would you be a heel or a face?
I'd be a heel.
Easily, so new guy Brendan is a heel.
A lot of people, I piss off a lot of people, and I'm happy with it. You know what I mean?
There you go. Buddy
knows. Look,
I've always been a bad kid. I would definitely say I would be a heel for sure. Yeah. I would come out of the crowd and attack the guy from behind with a chair for sure.
But here's the problem, buddy. Here's the problem with that, though, right? You could get away with that for like maybe like a week or two, but you're so lovable. Like when people finally meet you,
they wouldn't.
That like they would never buy you as a heel. Like I'm having a problem with that. Like I know what you're saying, like, and I get it, but once they actually met you, they'd be like, "That guy's not a heel." Like, what are they talking about?
Where I work, if I don't like somebody, I'll draw a dick on their windshield with a dry erase marker, and they drive around with it for weeks, and they have no idea that it says "I love," and it has a penis on the back of that car.
Well, now if you've ever worked with Buddy and had a dick drawn on your window, now you know.
That's me,
Matt. What do you got? You a face or a heel?
I think I could wear both faces, and I think that I would relish the evil. And I actually in my life, I've been on the evil kill for quite some time. I've yet to make my turn in the ring yet, so we'll see.
So you had a wrestling name, right? You had a wrestling name for yourself?
When I was growing up, my brother was Jumpin' John Scott. I was Mighty Mauler Moreau.
Mighty Mauler Moreau. That would be a mouthful. Buddy, did you ever have a wrestling gimmick or a name when you were growing up?
When we were kids, we kind of had a friend of mine had a wrestling ring that he built in the backyard, and they filmed it. We'd like fight each other in the ring, but I don't think. A friend of mine had the Polish Nightmare. I can't remember what they called me.
Brandon, what about you?
Yeah, we just had regular names because it was like right around the ECW era. So I was always Jason Frost, and my finishing move was the Frostbite. Fucking nasty.
So I was Mr. Inevitable. That's what my wrestling thing's always been. Like, and my thing has always been that I would be loud during my promo the whole time until I said my name, and then I would say it in a whisper, slow and in a whisper. So I'd be like, you know something, man, when I get you in the ring, I swear to God, because you're going up against Mr. Inevitable. Like, just hush. You know what I mean? Like, takes his time with that shit. I wouldn't let fans touch me. That would be one thing. I'd be that guy that was always like, if you touch me, I was like really upset because you touched me. Like, I made a big deal out of it. Like, you physically touched me. You know what I mean? Like, I would not like the fans at all, right? And I would love. I always wanted like to come in at the end of Bret Hart's career, right? Come in the ring, put my hand out to shake his hand, right, and then beat down an old man, Bret Hart, right? Leave me in the corner. And I would repeat his mantra to him, and I would say, best there is, best there was. Bang! Right on his chest with the microphone, and I walk right out of the ring. That's exactly how I'd leave him in his pink little tights. That's what I would have done to Bret Hart. And I actually have my own finisher move where if the guy's in front of me, Big Show kind of did it as like the big cut. You get the guy's head bent back, and then you just drop. You kick out your own legs and drop your power. But I always wanted to grab the guy, hold him, pose for a photo, and then drop. Like, way back as a kid, even the 80s and 90s, I was like, I would wait with my finisher and pose and then drop. So, like, they could take posters. But then it became like, then they could take photos. And then it was like, then they could, if someone has a phone, they could just catch me really quick pose. It evolved. Like, I have a sick thing, guys. I have a sickness. I always think in wrestling mode. Like, at times, I turn into Mr. Inevitable. And it's just like, you know what? I'm going to get this done, and I'm going to get through what I need to get through because it's inevitable. Like, sometimes I get that ego. You know, you guys don't get your character ever bubbling up? Like, my guy
I
comes
still
up,
do this
like,
Scott Hall walk under ladders at work.
What's that?
Every time I go under a ladder at work, I give the Scott Hall grief. Every single time.
And, buddy, you don't go up behind anybody out of the woods and smash them?
Oh, I'd love to do it. Especially today, it was a bad day at work. But no, I've never smashed anybody with a chair, unfortunately.
Matt, you would be a fist fighting technician.
Listen, like, every time I go, this girl Karen plays me Stone Cold Steve Austin, and she just hit me up. She said my entrance song has now changed. It's I think it's Randy Orton, and it's a pretty.
I have voices in my head.
Yes.
I know. How do I not know that?
That track is dope. I said, hey, I'm gonna
end you guys with this really quick. Someone's making a weird windy sound. So it was Matt. So going out, one of my favorite songs, period, of the wrestling time was Evolution by one of my favorite bands of all time, Motorhead, who I got to meet when Kilgore was on tour on the Ozfest, right?
Ozfest 98, yes.
So we ended up working it. Me and Dum Dum, we actually got to work the show because we rode up there with Kilgore. So Kilgore ended up playing on the side stage with Motorhead, and I got to meet Lemmy, and Lemmy's way out there, really out there, right? But they were all great.
Yeah.
And then me and Dum Dum worked the gyro thing. What's it called? The gyro thing you spin.
Yeah.
And we were drunk, probably on multiple substances, like tying grown-ups into this gigantic gyro machine, like in spinning them, and they're letting us do it. It was ridiculous. We were trying to make people sick. It was awful. And then I'll end it with this, I guess, because I keep talking. I remember walking into the woods of Great Woods. We're in the middle of Great Woods. You know where the grass is and all that stuff?
Yeah, we go and pee.
We're going to watch somebody, whatever. And what's his name comes up? Aaron comes up from Stained. We're like, oh, because we just played with them like recently. We're like, hey, how you doing? He goes, oh, yeah. Because last show we played with them at the Espresso Bar, they said that they had gotten signed. They explained the story to us. We were like, what the really? Like, it was just like that kind of story. We saw him, this happened, the other. But like, you knew all the time how good of a singer he was. He just didn't really sing as much in the beginning from when I used to listen to him. But anyways, he comes up to me in the woods and we're all hanging out, we're sharing something, we're chilling. And he's like, he said something that sticks in my head. I don't know why. He's like, we have the same lawyer now as Ice Cube. And I was like, wow. Like that's a big business if you get the same lawyer as Ice Cube. I don't think Ice Cube's lawyer would want to work with like people that aren't gonna like, you know what I mean, sell records, right? So that was like, dude, you're gonna be huge. Like I remember saying to him, how about funny is this? I'm like, you're gonna be huge. And then the next time I see him, it's Stained, Godsmack, State of Corruption, and Kilgore. 2 bands that opened, both were on the cover of Rolling Stone. Kilgore released the second CD, went on tour with Anthrax, and then they were going to go. They could have went anywhere they wanted. And us, I'm right here right now at Bar Fongool. I don't know where the other guys are. Dum Dum's probably lost. God only knows. Anything to say before we wrap it up, brother?
No, what a wild free agency period this has been for the NFL, huh? Hopefully the Pats wake up and do something else. I mean, I love the Trent Brown signing.
Stay the course, Pat.
Get some help here.
Come on, Brendan. Stay the course. Do what's right. Matt, what do you got to wrap it up?
I think Jarvis Landry is probably the only signing that they're really going to do. The Patriots. That's all I got.
Buddy, what do you say to wrap it up?
College basketball is looking really good. I'm watching Gonzaga go down right now. Hopefully Providence College pulls it through tomorrow night. Tune in Sunday night for Lester Velez on Legit Paranormal. We're going to talk about UFOs and abductions and shit.
Nice plug, buddy. All I got to say before I wrap it up is you can go to what it's like the HTTPS, the double dots, the 2 slashes. Why can't they name that? Why can't they give that part of it a name? That they call it the whatevers. You know, that I know what to type because I can't whatever. So it's that, and then it's legitpodcast.airtime AIRTIME.pro to listen to our radio station, which is 24/7. This show is actually broadcasting live. Our show on Sunday morning will be live at 11 a.m. for football. Sunday nights will be live. We're always live. We actually added some shows on Sunday night, Paranormal Buddy. Yes, we did.
Yes, we did.
We added Carl Johnson with James Zanito.
Dual Demonology.
Keith Johnson.
Ghosts Are Near.
And
Chris Belzano.
No. I'm trying to think. I was going to say the show first. Tripping
Legends. Tripping Legends.
Legends.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah, I was trying to say the name because it's tripping. There's no G on it. He spelled
tripping,
it like
yeah, like I'm tripping balls, but I'm tripping legends instead.
And like these are, and if you look these guys up, they're really well known in the field. Like their shows are really interesting. They're like way out there. It's great stuff for Sunday night. So for new guy Brendan, for Buddy Fair, for Master Thomas at home, Mr. Never Left, Matt. It's me. It's Mike Leopard King, Mike L. This was Bar Fongool from legitpodcast.com. Thank you for watching. We will see you again next week. We are done and Buddy.